What is something that you saw that you definitely weren't supposed to see? Now, your boy KhunShawn has had a couple moments like this that we are not going to talk about, but let's hear from Reddit what they've seen that they shouldn't have.
What's something you saw that you definitely were not supposed to see? When I was younger, I was at a friend's house sleeping over playing video
You got
games
that
on the
Call of Duty gameplay.
N64. We wanted a late night snack and went downstairs to get some cookies. We saw his mum with another man kissing.
Oh,
Wasn't sure if we got to the other
man.
point in the lounge as he cried and said, "You're not my dad." And sadly, this was the last time I spoke to him because he had to move away with his father.
Oh,
Story 2.
damn.
When I was 7,
Okay, you know what? I'm glad we're starting off with something that's more like, dang, that's kind of sad more than that's, well, absolutely insane. Bro, let's go ahead and give that story a 8.4 out of 10 because it is sad that the mom was cheating.
playing hide and go seek with my cousins at my grandma's house. I hid in the wicker laundry basket with the lid closed. This is awesome, I thought to myself, as only
It's
a
a good
child
spot.
discovering the greatest hiding place can feel. I could see through the small gaps in between the wicker. It was in my grandma's bathroom and 2 feet in front of the toilet. My
Oh,
grandma walked through the bathroom
man.
door not 30 seconds later after I contorted myself and closed the lid above me. With my face pressed against the side of the hamper, my grandma walked in, sat down, and bombed that toilet. I couldn't avert my eyes, staying perfectly still so this awkward situation doesn't turn more awkward.
Yikes.
The noises, the smell, my
Yikes.
grandmother's
Oh,
farts. I won
okay,
the
okay,
game.
brother.
I lost
Okay.
my innocence.
Oh,
That last
man.
line from OP, mwah, beautiful. Story 3.
6 out of 10, bro.
Nothing
That's life scarring.
like I've read on this post so far, but one time, right after turning 21, my dad takes me to one of his friend's new bars. We're drinking, having fun. I realize at one point I lost my dad, so I go looking for him. I find him in the back room. He's with one of my friends that works in the kitchen at the restaurant we all work at together, and my dad is instantly like, "Get out of here, don't look, just go." It took me a couple of years to realize they were doing lines off the pinball machine.
Oh,
Story
damn.
4. I walked
Yeah, that's crazy. 7 out of 10.
in on a black market plastic surgery, hanging
Wait,
out with a buddy from middle school.
okay.
Was shady about only staying in his room and entering through his back door and being quiet. We were leaving and I turned down the wrong hall to his kitchen and there was a doctor and assistants in scrubs. Tubes, machines, and plastic wrap everywhere. I was ushered out, screamed at, and told not to talk about it. Edit. This happened years ago while a freshman in college and was either a lipo or a tummy tuck, I don't know. He told me the doc only did those and Botox if I remember correctly. This was
Oh,
done in a
man.
low middle class neighborhood, so not super ghetto. To me, it was not done in a clean environment, but hey, who am I to judge? Of all the
I
things I would
guess.
get off the black market, plastic surgery is just not on the list.
Yeah, man, stuff like that is very, very dangerous, but it's cheaper than going to the hospital.
I don't know any other way to
Unless you have to go to the hospital afterwards.
say it. Story 5.
7 out
Going
of
to pay a
10.
ticket I got while driving with my headlights turned off. I walked into the courthouse office I was supposed to be in and looked through the glass to see the elected male sheriff giving the female magistrate a back and shoulder rub. They both
Okay.
went white when I knocked on the glass. The sheriff immediately stopped and walked to another room.
Oh,
The
brother.
magistrate gave me the weirdest look and said, "I guess Christmas came early for you." Stamp. And gave me the receipt of the voided ticket.
Oh,
Sometimes
brother.
it pays to see things you're not supposed to. This
Oh,
is
brother.
absolutely the best possible scenario for something like this.
For
Great
real.
timing, OP. Story 6. My
for
mom's
real.
old friend came over. She's a
5
little
out of
crazy,
10.
but sweet too. She said I looked just like her daughter, and then spent about 10 minutes scrolling through her camera roll with me to find a picture of her. In the process, I saw 2 to 3 dong pics. She was a bit embarrassed, but just said, "I'm sure you've seen a dong before, sorry." I assured her it was
Oh,
fine.
man.
Honestly, by the looks of the dong, I was more concerned for her. Story
Wait,
7.
wait,
When
what
I
do
was
you
a
mean by
kid
that?
One time, I went to
Wait,
my
what?
grandma's jewelry box.
8 out of 10.
I found a little flash drive at the bottom mixed in with the miscellaneous and broken jewelry. Being as I was immediately curious as to what secrets might lie within. I plugged the flash drive into my
Bad
older brother's
idea.
PC. There was a video titled Oregon Farm 2011. I clicked on it and immediately saw the most horrific thing anyone could possibly imagine. It was a bald man with an extremely large dong inserted in my grandma's mouth.
That's
I panicked and
crazy.
immediately turned off the screen. It was too late.
No, dude. Oh, 10 out of 10, bro. You're ruined.
The image was
You're
burned
ruined,
into my
dude.
mind.
That's
I put the flash
crazy.
drive back. I've never said anything about it and don't plan on. I'll probably take
Except
it to
on
the
Reddit.
grave. Well, OP, you screw around, you find out.
For
Story
real.
8. My parents' adult tape. They put it at the end of one of our family home videos. To my horror, I was showing my
What?
boyfriend at the time our home videos so he could see me as a baby.
Bro.
So the video cuts, goes to fuzzy gray for a minute, and then cuts straight to my 80s mom on the couch, pleasuring herself, and then saw my dad pull out his dong and balls while smiling at the camera before I could rush to turn it off. forever burned in
Bro,
my
oh
mind.
my
Story
gosh,
9.
bro. 10
I
out of
saw
10.
one
That's
really
terrible.
weird message and then got sucked into reading a whole huge text chain of my dad's really disgusting intimate text messages with his girlfriend, wherein he refers to her by the same and very specific and highly personalized nickname that he has referred to me as since I was a child.
That's kind
It
of
was
weird.
like a train wreck. I couldn't
That
look
is
away.
kind
The
of
messages had
weird.
a really strong DDLG fetish vibe as well, and I have never
I don't
recovered.
even know
It
what that
seems he
is.
refers to her by nickname whenever they're being intimate or romantic. For more horrific context, oh, the nickname isn't some common thing like baby girl. It's a reference to a misprint on my soccer jersey from middle school. It's incredibly specific, sounds a lot like my actual name. This girlfriend of his heard him refer to me by that nickname probably hundreds of times, so it can't be lost on
That's
her. Also, it sounds
weird.
nothing even close to her own name. I
That
have
is
racked my brain
weird.
a million times about it to try and
That
make
is
myself feel even
weird.
slightly less grossed out,
That is
but I only ever feel
weird.
more upset. It seems
Yes,
most
it's
likely that they do some
weird.
kind of intimate role play wherein she role plays
Bro,
as me
bro,
with my
bro.
dad. I have no idea
No,
why else they would be
no.
using that nickname for their intimate life. So I'm traumatized and haven't looked at my dad the same way since, but I sure as hell don't want to ask him about it. I haven't
Absolutely not, bro. Like 4 out of 10. I wish I didn't learn about this. That is weird on so many levels, bro.
told anyone in my life about this because what do you even do about that? It's the only thing I haven't told my fiance about because I think he might actually murder him if he knew. OP has a couple
Type
more
shit.
edits, just so you know, but I'm not going to read them out because it's kind of long and it's mostly just like, yeah, this is really weird. I couldn't believe it. But, whew, yikes, OP, that's not something that you would ever want to know. I'm sorry.
For
Like,
real.
you
I
must
don't
feel
want to know
incredibly
this.
violated or something. I wouldn't even
I
know,
don't
but
I
I
don't know how
am
to feel.
incredibly sorry because,
I
ugh,
don't know how
yuck.
to feel.
Story 10.
That's
Living out in the
weird
country when
on
I was
many
10 years old.
levels.
My parents went to the local video rental place and brought back a few VHSs. They told me to
Good
pop in
night.
Planet of the Apes. I did, and whoever had it before didn't rewind and started it mid-video, and all
Damn.
you heard was moaning, and all I saw was an eye full of dong and kitty. And I
What?
stared glued to the
Huh?
TV, and my parents freaked out and
That's
ran to
on
turn it
Planet of
off.
the Apes?
Apparently, the small video rental store back then doubled as an adult video store as well, and
Oh.
they somehow accidentally grabbed a copy of Playmate of
Oh.
the Apes by accident. With all the
Bro,
parody titles and adult content,
that's
that's a
crazy.
risky business. Video store
For
doubling
real.
as an adult video store? Whew. I bet that's not the
7
first
out
time
of
that's
10, bro.
happened.
What the
Story
hell?
11. Yesterday, my dog was barking while I was FaceTiming a friend. I went out to the
Okay.
gate to see what he was barking at. It's 9 feet high. I peeped through the handhole to see my next door neighbor peeing on the land between our places. I
Okay.
saw his dong and then he was looking at my eye and he said, "It's okay, buddy," which is my dog's name. So yesterday I saw my next door neighbor's dong and then held eye contact for a second. Story 12.
That's
a frisky
weird.
text
4
from
out
my
of
dad
10.
clearly meant for my mom. Also, unfortunately, my
Oh,
dad's
brother.
dong. Thankfully, not in
Oh,
person. He
brother.
just didn't delete his photos before giving a 12-year-old his old phone. Rookie
Oh,
mistake.
brother.
Story 13. When I was 7 or 8, I
5
watched
out
my
of 10.
70-plus neighbor have a heart attack and drop to the ground. Face completely blue, eyes rolling into the back of his head about a meter away from me. I feel like there was blood too, but I'm not 100% sure. I had to run and get an adult to call an ambulance. I'm positive I saw him momentarily die, but the paramedics managed to bring him back. No child should have to see that. It's screwed up. Story
9
14.
out of 10.
Borrowed my now ex-husband's laptop one evening while I was at home and he was out with friends. Browser was open to his Gmail account, including an ongoing Google chat with his mistress.
Oh,
He must
brother.
have been chatting with her on his phone because their convo continued
Oh,
on the
brother.
screen as I looked
Oh,
on in
brother.
horror. I scrolled back through the previous several weeks of their chat. He mentioned having
Why?
a wife. He sent her dong pics,
Why?
many dong pics. He gushed
God.
over his feelings for her, but she mostly seemed to want to hit him up for money.
Makes
It was
sense.
horrifying, of course, but also a terribly sad look into that D-bags in her life. Divorced now, thankfully. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Story
7.5
15.
out
I'm
of
a
10.
med student and had the privilege of taking practices in the rural area outside of my city. The university offered a transport bus to take you to the different hospitals in case transport was an issue. I used to sit on the front row behind the bus driver so I could look at the road to avoid the motion sickness that I usually get in road trips. One morning when we were about to depart, the bus driver climbed inside the vehicle, and when he was about to sit, someone came inside the bus and shot him 6 times with what I believe was a big revolver. He died
the
on the
hell?
spot. Blood loss was out of control because, as I learned later, one of the bullets pierced through his aorta. On a selfish
Oh,
note, I'm
damn.
glad the murderer was wearing a motorcycle helmet and I couldn't see his face, because I swear that after he was
That'd
done
be
with the
trauma.
shooting, he looked right at me, and for a second contemplated the idea of getting rid of the witness. I was afraid of coming to my uni for the rest of the year and someday being unalived. Rest in peace, Mr. Bayron. You were the quickest and coolest bus driver I ever met, even when that made
Damn.
me really dizzy. Story 6.
I'm just confused. Like, damn, like he just marked the bus driver. Like, bro, there's got to be something deeper into that. 8.10. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Sorry.
When I was around 10 years old, my mom and I went to visit an aunt and
That's
uncle,
crazy.
as my uncle, my mom's brother, had just had a major surgery. During the visit, my aunt and my mom cooked a big dinner, and my aunt tells me to go call my cousin to eat dinner. I go to his room and open the door to be greeted by the sight of guns lining the bed, and I vividly remember seeing bricks of what I later learned were coke and big burlap sacks of
Oh,
weed.
damn.
I blurted out, "Here, Mom said come and eat," and immediately slammed the door shut. It was no secret to anyone in our family the type of business that our cousins were in. He
I
came out of
see.
his room a few minutes later and scolded me for not knocking. I was scared crapless. But the young kid brain in me was also extremely fascinated to see that they were real-life drug lords. Story 17.
Sure. All
My
right.
wife's
7
stepmom
out of
dated a
10,
guy
bro.
who shared my name. She sent a topless picture to the wrong contact. She was around 60 at the time. I deleted it and took the opportunity to get off my butt and down to the cell phone shop for a new phone and a new number. I then texted all of my contacts, saying I'd gotten a new number and may have missed anything they sent in the last 4 hours. I created for a perfect excuse for us to never speak of even the possibility of something so wrong, but I still haven't drunk enough to forget it. Story 18. A few
8
years
out of
ago, a
10.
cousin of a female friend got back from Afghanistan recently discharged. Let's call
Huh.
my friend Lucy and her cousin Mike. Didn't know Mike well, but Lucy and Mike were fairly close. We were using Skype to play Magic the Gathering with him at distance,
Skype.
and usually about 5 or 6 of us in person. We're in California, Mike's in Alabama. Lucy wanted to include him on the fun we'd have after classes and such, so we were trying to figure out a distance solution to include him. Mike
What's a good
seemed like
time
a nice
zone?
enough guy. Anyhow, we're midway through a game when Mike says into the camera, "I'm gonna go get another beer, I'll be right back." We're still going through turns, so it's all good. The laptop is angled in such a way that it's directly facing Lucy. I can see it at a slight angle from the right, and another friend, Nina, beside Lucy, is participating on her left. A couple minutes pass. We figure he's using the restroom or whatnot. No big deal. The next part I remember is in slow motion. It's surreal. Everyone's
Okay.
laughing and socializing while this happens. Mike comes back and sits down, and I get this weird feeling. Like this deep pit opens in my stomach and my skin feels overly sensitive. Friend across the table looks concerned and says something like, "You okay?" Because I stopped talking suddenly and must have gone pale. I didn't answer back. I was watching the laptop. Mike is hiding his hands and I don't see any beer. Nina says, "Hey, Mike's back," and everyone starts picking up their cards. Mike says something to the effect of, "Just a sec, I want to show you guys something," real cheery like. He pulls out a pistol and does a sort of salute movement with it and then shoots himself in the temple with a .44. Cue chaos, screaming, vomiting, ugly crying, frantic phone calls, and a crappy night. Part of me is really sad for Mike, but the greater part of me wants to tell him to go screw himself for traumatizing 2 friends of mine, one severely and subjecting me to it in the process. Hurt his cousin on purpose as a last act, as suddenly and brutally as possible. Screw you, Mike, but rest in peace.
Yeah. Extremely fucked up story. I'm not honestly don't even want to give a rating for that, but yeah, man. If you having those types of thoughts, definitely get help, man. Get help. There's no reason to go back to the lobby, and there's no reason for Mike to want to traumatize all these other people while going back to the lobby. That's absolutely insane.
Look, there really are no 2 ways about something like this.
That's
It's just
crazy.
a horrible thing to do. Obviously, you have to be in absurd amounts of mental distress to even consider doing it, but I think it's okay that if that happens to you or people you know, you don't have to forgive the person,
True.
as cruel as that might seem. This story did not
Absolutely
go
not. You
at
don't have
all
to
where I
forgive them.
thought it would. Story 19. When I was about 9 years old, I was sat in my mom's car at a T-junction, right at the front, and I was in the passenger seat. On the opposite side of the T-junction was a hill with a bunch of houses on it and a path going directly up the hill which had quite tall fences on either side. I could see a woman walking down the hill with a big pushchair in front of her, and her view of the path along the road was obstructed by the fences. She just walked out onto the path, pushchair first, and didn't see that there was a guy on a bike cycling along the pathway. He
Oh,
couldn't see her
damn.
either as she was obscured by the fence. He swerved to miss the pushchair and came flying off his bike and straight into the road. Just at the moment, a lorry drove by and ran straight over his head.
Oh
Me and my
man.
mum saw everything. She quickly put her hand in front of my face so I couldn't see, but it was too late. I can still remember the woman's screams and seeing the blood splattered on the road. My mum had to stick around to tell police what had happened as we saw the whole thing play out. I
That's
remember my mum
crazy.
taking me home and buying us pizza and us spending the whole night on the sofa under the duvet as it clearly messed her up too.
I
I had
bet.
nightmares about it for years, but I haven't thought about it for a little while until I started reading some of the other stories here. Are you proud of yourself, person who posted this question? You just brought up trauma for this poor OP. On a more serious note, because that was mostly joking, that is just truly unfortunate. I really hope after
Absolutely.
that the whole fence situation was changed around because that is bad. Story
I don't even know what to add to that, bro. Like, yeah, it's part messed up and part like feels like this could have been avoided. And it's like, how could this have been avoided? It's like that damn fence for one. And it's like, hope like I wish the lady looked before she started pushing the thing out or whatever. Like maybe the guy could have been cycling at a different point in time. It's like, bro, all of this is just crazy.
Story 20. In the
It's so
7th grade, I was
crazy.
walking out of the locker room. I heard the girls' locker room door open, and me being a human, responded at a sudden noise. I looked over to see one of the girls walk out. We make normal human eye contact. At this point,
Nice.
everything is normal. But in the corner of my eye, I was somehow at the perfect angle to see one of my classmates with her pants down. Needless to say, I
Nice.
worked hard to consciously not look in that direction again. Story 21. My wife sleeping clothed with another dude in our bed on New Year's Eve. To get a
Oh,
little more in depth, I was working a door shift at a bar that night. Got no texts throughout the evening from her saying Happy New Year. So when I got home, I'm walking down the stairs to our part of the house and I noticed the TV is on. So I'm like, what the hell? She's still awake and our bedroom light is on. I walk over and see her and this dude passed out on the bed, fully clothed, but all the sheets had been removed. I yelled, "What the hell?" And they both jolted up. All I remember saying is, "Get the frick out of my house." "No, you're not putting your shoes on. Get the frick out," to the guy. I grabbed his backpack and whatever else he had and threw it out on the front door in our driveway. My wife and I didn't really say much that night.
yeah,
She
I bet.
left 10 minutes later to stay at the hotel she worked at. Also, the dude worked there too. Soon she
Oh,
moved into that same
damn.
hotel after we broke up. We tried to
Oh,
work things out for a bit,
damn.
but the fact that she became an alcoholic and was very abusive in the past, I just had enough. Fast forward, I've
Absolutely.
been in a super healthy relationship for 4 years. She went to
Okay,
rehab.
cool.
Then she moved to a different state and became a druggie and was arrested 5 times. Funny
Hey,
note,
that
I'm a
happens.
huge Denver Nuggets fan and I go to a lot of games. Turns out this guy was part of the crew who does backflips during commercial breaks.
Oh,
I had to
cool.
see this son of a gun over and over. OP, I just want to say, I'm proud of you for leaving that. You
Yeah,
do
yeah.
not need that in your life, and I bet you are so much better off now.
Yeah, I will add on to that, man. A lot of people they stay in these toxic relationships because they feel like they might not find somebody better, or they just don't want to be alone, right? At the end of the day, man, if you're in a toxic, unhealthy relationship, you gotta let it go. Even if there was some good times during it, bro, you gotta let it go, and you might just find something way better, just like the OP did in this story.
Story 22. Oh lord,
What does OP mean, by the way? I thought they were called anons on Reddit.
where do I start? My 72-year-old grandma, butt naked, getting out of the shower, no towel. I was 6 and it
Wow.
gave me nightmares. My mom's breasts, because she enjoys taking her bra off through her tank top armhole, but her breasts don't always want to stay inside the torso. My dad's dong when I was 7 because he showers with the curtain open like an absolute psycho. My elderly Jehovah's Witness neighbors banging because they thought I was 18. I was 6'3" at 13, and told my mom to send me over to make some money. A surgeon with his hand in my stomach. Story
Whoa,
23.
whoa, whoa, okay, hold on. Okay, okay. All of those, it's like, bro, yeah, being naked, that's just life, bro. If you don't like nudity, like, bro, get over it. Like, it's life. But to have a surgeon in your chest, bro, that now that's a story.
Many years
10 out of 10.
ago, in the early days of the Doritos Locos Tacos, I was at an
Mm,
empty Taco Bell with my now
I
husband,
remember
just
those.
enjoying some artery clogging food, when all
Yeah,
of a
for
sudden
real.
a bunch of guys in suits came into the Taco Bell to sit down and have a meeting. This Taco Bell was in the hood, so they were very out of place. My husband ignored them, but I did my best
Okay.
to listen in. They were discussing plans for a new menu item, but I couldn't tell what exactly.
Ah,
Then, in the corner
corporate.
of my eye, I saw what I was certain was a prototype wrapper for a Cool Ranch Doritos Loco Taco. The suits left before we did. I told my husband what I saw as soon as they left. Sure enough, about a month later, this Taco Bell became
Yeah.
one of the first test restaurants for the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos, which was released nationwide soon
Yep.
after. Story
That's
24. My
cool.
best friend and I decided to have a joint 16th birthday
9 out of
party since
10.
we're only a month apart. She was over at my house and we decided to use our family computer to create party invites in Photoshop. Open the program and lo and behold, turns out Photoshop automatically opens the last project it was used for. My dad
Yeah.
had been photoshopping a picture from the 80s of my mom spread eagle on the couch pleasuring herself with him standing next to her holding his dong. We both
Bro, like, why was that on Photoshop? What was he doing? Like, was he updating the photo to make it look better,
screamed
bro?
and tried to close the project with our eyes shut. After we had done so and recovered, we went about making
Dude,
our
that's
party invites.
crazy.
Only for round 2 of horror when we went to save the project.
Oh,
The
brother.
program opened the recently saved projects folder, and well, you can imagine what those were. A
Oh,
year or so later, my
man.
parents had gone away for their wedding anniversary, and I invited my boyfriend and his best mate over one night, since I was home alone and bored. They knew about the Photoshop incident and decided to further explore the computer. I didn't really care either way, so let them have their fun. That night, they ended up finding over 1 terabyte of adult content on my dad's
Wow.
second hard drive, from furry stuff to clown stuff. Oh, and of
Damn.
course, many more photo shoots of my parents' frisky adventures.
And you're only child? You're an only child and your parents are into all this freak shit? Like, damn.
Including trios and quads, with
Oh.
family friends who I'd known since I was born.
Oh, that's a good way to call it. Trios and quads.
I do
Okay,
also have a
okay.
very early memory of getting out of bed one night because I had a nightmare intending to cuddle with my mom and dad. I was maybe 5 or 6. There was a couple staying with us at the time. The guy was my dad's friend from high school, I think. My parents had a small courtyard attached to the bedroom. I walked into the bedroom and could hear them in the courtyard. The glass door in between had a curtain across it. I peeked between the gap in the curtain and saw my mom and the other woman sitting around a table, no tops on. And my dad was fondling the other woman's breasts, and the other bloke was doing the same too and kissing my mum. They were all drinking and smoking. I never knew my parents to
That
smoke
was
at
some
any other
freak
time. I
shit.
legged it back to bed quick smart. That nightmare was definitely worse than my unconscious one. Look, OP, gotta
That
say,
is some
kinda
freak
weird to let
shit.
people just go through your parents'
For real.
intimate
That is
stuff on
weird.
computers. Just seems like a weird breach of privacy
Absolutely.
that I don't love the idea of. That being said, 1 terabyte is a lot.
That's a
Like,
lot.
that's a lot of stuff.
Yes,
I'm assuming
it
this is in the
is.
past as well, so that's
They've been
like
doing a lot of shit for
a lot of stuff.
years.
Oh my god. And about the nightmare, that is unfortunate. Should have just toughed it out with the spooky monsters. Anyway, that is all the stories we have for today. I'm sure you all have some stories to contribute as well, don't you? If you do, throw them in the comments, especially if you have some spicy stuff. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, that was very interesting. UnderSparked. This is our first time checking out the channel. This was left in the last Reddit video we did. It was left in the comments. Check out UnderSparked, and I was like, okay, sure, let's check it out. Yeah, this was a very interesting video. These are very like these stories went from bro, that's kind of funny to bro, that's wild to damn, that's insane. Yeah, man, when it comes to online and sharing stories, there are a lot of stories and it's limitless, man. There's so many stories people can tell. And I'm interested to check out some more of these. So if you guys got any more specific videos you want me to check out from Reddit, leave them in the comments below and I'll be checking them out. It's your boy KhunShawn. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed the reaction, hit the like button. If you're new here, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.